Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the MOVIEVERSE podcast show where we review a movie that we have recently seen. Today, we're doing Transformers 4 Age of Extinction. I actually had to look and make sure I got the title of that right.
Autobots, roll out!
That's right, we're going to talk about some good old-fashioned Michael Bay explosions. My name is Jacoby, the Habitual Pixel. You can find my channel in the links below, as well as my good friend Big Nasty Productions channel, also in the links below. We're going to talk about some movies. Transformers. Transformers Age of Extinction. We saw it, and we're here to talk
The only
about it.
the only thing that we can hope after seeing this is that the film franchise goes extinct.
Yeah. Um,
Hopefully that's what they meant by Age of Extinction.
I heard one review called Transformers 2, or whatever that one was, uh, a rape of cinema. And I was like, holy shit, that is an intense thing to call a movie.
Yeah, that
Um,
was with the ghetto bots, right? The ones that were
yes.
clearly racist stereotypes.
Yes, the ghetto bots and the ancient bots, and there's just an ancient alien thing built
Well, I
under the
mean, in this one
pyramids.
still featured Ken Watanabe as the Asian bot.
I was gonna say this is he does a lot of things better in this Transformers than he did
I'll agree.
in the last three. There's less overt racism, although still Ken Watanabe's character. There's nothing humps anything else. That's a bonus. There's no dogs humping dogs. There's no robots humping dogs, vice versa, because that happened in all three of the last movies. There's no Shia LaBeouf. There's no Shia
Yeah, no
LaBeouf
Shia
anymore.
LaBeouf. Mind you, though, and this is with pain that I say this. Uh, I prefer Shia LaBeouf to Mark Wahlberg as far as these movies are concerned. Mark Wahlberg did not give me a lot to go on.
He sure as fuck
I,
did
I
not.
actually thought with the kind of the cast that they had, he was the weakest. Stanley Tucci, I thought did a good
Stanley
job, but
Tucci, I
it's
thought did
Stanley
a
Tucci.
great
You're always
job.
going to get a great job out of Stanley Tucci.
I thought Kelsey Grammer did okay with what he
Yeah,
had to do.
he was actually very nefarious. Is that the word? Yeah, nefarious.
He was the right amount
He
of
seemed very
creepy and
evil. Yeah,
right amount
he's
of
a good
creepy,
villain.
right amount of intimidating. But yeah, I agree. Mark Wahlberg. I have a hard time calling him better than Shia LaBeouf as a lead because I didn't like Shia LaBeouf's style of just yelling and no and just that shit. Oh
Optimus,
yeah, which Mark Wahlberg does his fair share of saying dumb shit in this movie. Don't get me wrong.
honey, pass me my alien gun.
Yeah, uh, yeah. I guess we can start with Mr. Wahlberg. I didn't think he was a
It
great
seems like he
lead.
pretty much just did it for fun.
He
But
phoned it in.
also at the same time, I'll give him the credit that when I saw an interview with him, he was saying that one of the main reasons he I think was doing this, or maybe it was even Pain and Gain he was talking about. He said he wanted to shadow Michael Bay and just kind of learn the ropes of directing because he has interest in directing himself.
Hmm.
So I mean, if he's doing that, well, maybe he's just distracted. Who knows? But this was to me, it was not like Pain and Gain. Although Mark Wahlberg isn't exactly
You
the
can't.
strongest caliber of actor, he
You
doesn't
can't
have much
fucking.
range.
You can't shadow Scorsese or someone else he's worked with in the past. Anyway, that's a different story. But
But
I
I mean, it's
know
just that it's not his fault for the dialogue. But at the same time,
no,
come
it's
on,
not. This is
it's easily one of his worst performances, and that's including the always horrible The Happening.
like
So
he like I said, I'm torn to whether he's a better leading man or not. But I don't miss Shia LaBeouf, that's for sure.
no, I don't
Um,
miss him, but I
Mark
think I prefer him over Mark Wahlberg.
Mark like his story, what's his character's name? This Cade Yeager.
Yeah,
You
Cade
ever met a
Yeager.
fucking
He's an
human being
inventor.
named Cade Yeager, the inventor?
Who's apparently from Texas with a thick Boston accent.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know,
and his
we got a saying about messing with people in Texas. As his fucking Boston accent.
they
Yo,
never said
don't
if he
don't
was
mess with
from
Texas.
Texas, but yeah. He plays the down
Come
on
on,
his
man.
luck inventor who keeps buying shit and
He plays the dad from Gremlins.
yeah. There you go. He pretty much plays exactly the dad from Gremlins. Um yeah, I don't know. He's
Yeah,
got
because instead of finding Gizmo, he finds a transformer
Optimus
that's gonna
Prime.
that's gonna make him all this money.
Hmm. Yes.
This strangely has a very near plot to Gremlins,
Gremlins, but
and I'm pretty sure it is produced by Steven Spielberg.
yeah, you're right. I really question what Steven has to do with this fucking franchise at all.
I'm pretty sure he just gives Michael Bay a check to fuck off and leave him alone.
Mm-hmm. Yes, as I would too. um,
But no, in all honesty, Mark Wahlberg I think is one of the weakest performances of this movie, and that's not saying much. But at the same time, even the closer characters to him, like his little sidekick that ends up dying off really quick,
yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
he was the best one as
Yeah,
far in my
funniest
opinion.
character in the damn movie. Let's see if I can pull him up. Do you remember what his character's name?
I don't.
Lucas Flannelly, Cade's best friend and mechanic. That sounds about right. Played by T.J. Miller. Yeah, that's him, T.J. Miller. He plays a little bit of the comic relief in the beginning, but again, spoiler alert, as always, they kill the motherfucker in the first hour, and it's just,
And then they just try to rely on the back and forth between Mark Wahlberg and the Irish boyfriend, which to me didn't really pull it off at all. I thought that was kind of weak.
yeah,
The
there's,
chemistry between those two
his,
characters.
yes, Mark Wahlberg's daughter, who we'll get to in a minute. I have big problems with this character, but, she's dating this fucking, like, sounds a little bit Australian, even though he keeps calling him Irish.
Yeah.
Um, Rally racer dude who
Yep.
also lives in Texas. Like, I don't know. It's very strange. And I guess that we can segue into Tessa, his Mark Wahlberg's daughter, who is played by. Let me bring up this. I recognize her from Bates Motel, but
Yeah.
I don't know anything else.
That's the only thing I've ever seen her
Nicola
in.
Peltz plays Mark Wahlberg's daughter, who is, I guess, the replacement for the typical pretty girl in the movie because they've had Megan Fox in the first two and
The model, whatever her name is, and
the
third
fucking
one.
yeah the European bombshell from the third one who is nameless. And now we have this one, and like it was uncomfortable before, but he managed to ratchet up the uncomfortable here because she's supposed to be 17 years old, and they keep pointing that shit out. But yet she's still. There's no other reason for her to be in this movie except to run around, look pretty, and scream. That's it. She's not
Yeah.
doing shit. uh,
Yeah, no, the one thing I will give her credit for is she does seem a lot more enthusiastic about this role than she did in Bates Motel.
yeah.
In Bates Motel, her performance was almost lethargic, I found.
Oh, really?
Whereas, yeah, she's just kind of very monotoned and I don't know, didn't really have much depth to the character. Whereas this, not that there's much depth to the character, at least she, tries to give it her Michael Bay best,
And she
which
does.
basically means, like you said, look pretty and scream a bunch.
Yes, but this time they make it uncomfortable by having her underage and fucking
Yeah.
her boyfriend carries her. Apparently,
And he's older. Yeah, he's supposed to
yeah,
be
he's
over like
supposed to be
20.
20 and she's 17. And there's
Yeah,
like
which
there's some statute about like if you were in a relationship when you were both minors, when one person reaches, 19 or 20 and the other one's still underage, it's okay, called the Romeo and Juliet cause or some shit. And
and he has it.
he carried around a copy of this to show Mark Wahlberg that it's okay to bang his daughter. Like he showed it to him. There's a close up of it. Like what? There's
Uh,
so yeah, there's I don't know. She's definitely less sexualized than Megan Fox straddling the motorcycle in the past ones. Um
yeah.
in the third Transformers movie, the very first shot of the female love interest was of her ass. Like you saw her ass before her face was even on screen. So you're doing better, Michael, but still, like you have this affinity for like hot girls who with just like blank faces. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? The supermodel look, how you just look through everybody. That's what Megan Fox, all these women have had. They just stare through you. They're really pretty, don't get me wrong, but there's nothing there.
But yeah, like you said, as far as the human side of the protagonists, they weren't really anything special on any account,
Nope.
except until when Stanley Tucci came in. I mean, even then, Stanley Tucci's kind of, in my opinion, playing Stanley Tucci as he
Hmm.
seemed to play in The Devil Wears Prada. He was kind of the same character as that almost, but not gay.
Yeah, pretty much. He plays Stanley Tucci. Like he's definitely dropping way more one-liners and funny stuff than anyone in his position should be. And he's the head of what is it, KSI, some sort of military.
Whatever the
It doesn't.
scientific
It
group
doesn't.
that finds what do they call it? Transformium.
Transformium. It doesn't fucking
Yeah.
matter. But this guy leads. He's like the Steve Jobs, whatever, leader of this KSI military science division or something, and they've unlocked the secret to the Transformers. in this metal that they can program called
Yeah.
transformium. They didn't even,
Only they haven't and they can't.
only they haven't and they can't. They fucked up royally after and made 50 prototypes first. But yeah, it's called transformium,
Mhm.
and I thought unobtainium from fucking Avatar was a bad name for something. Transformium.
Oh, they're both pretty terrible names,
Hmm.
but
All the explanation and like the stuff when what's the lockdown, that's his name, the antagonist, and his alien race comes in, all that stuff, all the explanation for the backstory is kind of just basically going fuck you, watch it.
especially because it's extremely vague and
It
never
is, it's
at
super
all
vague.
conclusive.
It's super vague at times, and all three of the previous ones have been a little vague on stuff as well, but this, like, there's not.
I'm assuming that he was speaking about Unicron. That's the only thing I could think of. But at the same time, it makes no sense not to have it. Just get it done with already.
Yeah, there's no, I don't know. To the hardcore fans of the Transformers series out, I know you're out there, and I'm talking the original Transformers. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I know you're out there, but your heart has been broken so many times by
Well,
this
I like the
series.
1980. I like the 1986 animated Transformers with Unicron voiced by the late Orson Welles.
Oh yeah, that was cool. His last role, fun
Uh,
fact. Um,
but aside from like, if they did that in a movie, mind you, it's cheesy as hell and
yeah,
very fruity. But that's the one with the theme song. You got the touch, dun, 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 you got the power. Yeah,
yeah.
you know the one I'm talking about.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, that one. But anyways, if they did that, it would obviously be kind of cheesy as well. And I mean, obviously, there's a huge difference when you're going from a cartoon from, 30 years ago to now. What are you really gonna
I agree.
what's really going to translate in that? That's kind of like the same sort of problems that you run into with trying to spawn the GI Joe franchise into a film franchise, right?
Battleship and
Back
stuff.
in the 80s it was a cartoon about action figures, and nowadays I don't even, do kids still play with action figures?
I don't know.
I think
I
that most kids just play video games. I
Yeah,
don't
what
know. I really
video
don't know.
games seem to be better than any action figure. Jesus, you can make your own action figure. Video games are great.
Most of the people that I know that buy action figures are grown men and they collect them.
Yeah, exactly. I was just gonna say that, and that goes for Transformers as well.
Yeah, I got a couple in my room.
Yeah, I was just gonna see if I had one within reach, but I don't.
Yeah, I got Optimus and Megatron in the other room.
And I do like the Transformers. I do like the old school ones. I even have an odd, weird appreciation for this new Michael Bay quadrilogy now that's going
I
on.
did for the first one. When the first one came out, I
Yeah,
did
the
have an
first one I.
appreciation for the fact that it was a good translation at all. It was a good
Hmm.
kind of.
Yeah.
It was good to see how someone would think of doing this in a film, right? Because
Yeah, exactly.
when there's no other way that you could have possibly done this movie until
The
the technology with
technology caught
CGI
up.
was at
Yeah,
that point.
I agree. Like the first one was like, damn, they made a Transformers movie work.
Yeah,
Everything pretty much made sense there. Like I don't know how they did that. And then the second one came and just I don't know what the fuck happened with the second one, but that's one of my like least favorite movies ever.
yeah. Revenge of the Fallen, and then
Yes,
or no,
yes. No,
yeah,
Revenge
Revenge
of
of the Fallen,
the Fallen, yeah. Dark of the
and then
Moon was the third
the
one.
third. That's right.
Yeah, and the third one was better. It had some. I like the Chernobyl stuff, and that Chicago battle at the ending was wicked. But
Yeah.
we'll get to why I have an appreciation for the Transformers films. That has nothing to do with the film itself or Michael Bay, or any of the actors, or anybody except for Industrial Lights and Magic. If you want to talk about that, because that is like a star of the film. If you want. Um, Yes, okay, let's talk. ILM is a company known as Industrial Lights and Magic, started by George Lucas and Steven Spielberg way back in the day, and they are the kings of CGI and computer generated effects and blowing stuff up and making these Transformers come to life. And each one of these movies, even the second one, which is arguably like terrible,
Arguably the worst.
arguably the worst. They try their ass off here. They always put 110% into like the visuals and making shit explode, and it's giant and it's beautiful, and like it seems like they directed the movie. The special effects guys directed the movie. They just had Michael Bay come in to do little shots here and there. Michael Bay was second unit director on this movie. Because the rest is all, it's fucking the special effects team, and I think they outdid themselves this time. Like that Chicago battle at the end of the third one, and I guess most of the end of this one, like the Shanghai showdown, I like to call it.
Hold on one
It
sec. I have to go. I'll be right back. One sec.
okay. Yes, as I was saying, special effects. They're awesome. This movie is no different. It's basically, I can't imagine how fun it would be to work on a film at Industrial Lights and Magic, like one of these Michael Bay explosion films.
Yeah.
No one does spectacle like Michael Bay. Like I will give him that. Everything he films is so like beautifully framed and the lighting is all nice. He's really good with color. He's super good at special effects and like incorporating where they need to be and like filming around that.
I'll
Um,
give you that. He is
but on the
definitely
other hand,
far superior.
he can't do fucking anything else right. But the visual stuff he's very good at. I will give him that. He's very
Yeah.
good at.
He's definitely far superior to someone like a Zack Snyder, for instance, who also has more of a focus in the aspect of special effects.
Hmm.
But he does seem to have that kind of bigger stance of his, where it's, although, like you said, almost like bigger and more grand, right?
Hmm. Yeah, like
But
everything he does is just every shot, pretty much every shot in this movie looks gorgeous. I mean, they're not all like innovative shots per se, but
mm,
they're always filmed nice. So you can see symmetry, the lighting's always really nice, the colors look nice. Unfortunately, that's just like I don't know. That's not gonna appeal to too many people. The special effects will appeal to CGI nerds like myself and children.
well, and all those things that you said too are kind of running themes throughout Michael Bay's body of work. Really, if you look even at stuff like
Spectacle. Yeah.
Bad Boys and Bad Boys 2, for instance, the color palettes throughout both of those films are, I mean, very kind of different as opposed to what you'd see
Yeah,
in a normal film.
it
Mm.
is what you think of when you think Hollywood style film.
Yeah.
Blue lights, a lot of like either
Hmm.
warm tones or blue tones. Um, yeah, I mean, I think he does a great job, especially in this movie when it comes to visuals, but that's like everything
Right.
else falls so flat. Like, and even the action started to come apart at the seams a little bit in this one. I noticed
Well, when they came with the dinosaurs and started fighting everybody and it
yeah,
lasted about
well,
two
not
seconds each
even.
fight.
I just mean like he always like his action scenes are what you go to his movies for, right? Pain and Gain aside, that's a great
Sorry, Dinobots.
Dinobots, whatever. Pain and Gain aside, that was a really good Michael Bay movie. But
I like Pain again.
you go Pain and Gain, sorry. You go to a Bay flick to watch shit explode real good, basically.
Hmm.
And he doesn't disappoint here, but he did do there was some like seams coming apart in the fights near the end. I noticed there was like the camera would pan over here and you'd hear the transforming sound and it'd pan back and they'd be a car driving off.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
you there wasn't like a good time relation during some of the fights. Like one, like Optimus is grabbing a dude and flying over here. Next scene, he's like fighting on top of a roof. Just like, how did that get to there? And usually you don't care because so much shit is being like fucking thrust at your face that you're not gonna notice. But I
Well,
noticed.
and speaking of depreciating value,
Yeah.
what did you think? I'm assuming we're on the same page for the new way that the humans created bots, how those transform.
They looked kind of bad. I,
I thought that was a little ridiculous.
I thought they looked.
They essentially turn into a flowing wave of cubes, and then that's it, just
Yeah,
or
very
whatever that
similar
is.
to I don't know. Kind of look like the Sentinels from the Matrix a little
Yeah,
bit. Yeah.
yeah, almost. Hmm.
Yeah. There wasn't much imagination going on with them. I mean, Optimus looked great. I thought he looked really cool when he was old and beat up, and I thought the new Optimus looked nice too. That red car though, that was a sick car. But anyways, that's not a Transformer thing. Michael Bay loves his cars too, because that's how. For those who
Yeah,
don't know,
there was some sick cars in it.
yeah, that's for those who don't know, that's how he got his start by filming car commercials and Victoria's Secret stuff. Hence why all of his movies have cars and beautiful, simple looking women. That's his shit. That's what's going on inside Michael Bay's mind all the time. Explosions, cars, women. Repeat. Transformers. But yeah. Anyways, that was kind of a ramble there. Um, Yeah, special effects, amazing. Unfortunately, not even close to enough to save the rest of this film.
Yeah, probably one of the only high points, if not maybe one of very few high points in the movie.
Hmm. Um,
Because to me, one of the what always has to obviously correspond well with your visuals is your audio. And
yep,
one thing that they did terribly was allowed, I believe it's Skrillex, to oversee the music in this film.
the whole thing.
Even if it's just the action scenes, if you didn't know, the action scenes were all dubstepped, kind of similar to
I did
the
notice
Amazing
that.
Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
I can't stand that. I don't know if that's a new way of doing these big action scenes or if it's the trend they're trying to create, but stop now.
What it is a little thing called focus groups, and they look at what the kids
Yeah,
like, and then the kids like the EDM, Skrillex, dubstep, noise bullshit, and they
it's
jam fuck
bullshit.
it in the. Yeah, it has no. I don't know. A lot of people like electronic, like hard. I like electronic music, but like
I understand the
that
reasoning.
hardcore
I mean,
dubstep.
it's
But
technological movie, right? Like it's or it's like what do you call it?
yeah, where'd all the Linkin
Robotics
Park
and
go? Can't you just
uh,
get some more Linkin Park? That fits pretty much.
but
Uh,
yeah. So I don't know if it's similar to with that because didn't they let them do the whole soundtrack
at least a
on
couple
the first one?
songs, yeah, on the previous couple
Yeah.
movies, I think.
But anyways, yeah, that was one of the huge downfalls for me was the audio, the underlaying audio, and
Hmm.
even the soundtrack that they had.
Mm.
I
The
thought a
sound
lot of that
design
was
of all the
stupid.
robots and stuff was good. I thought
See,
the
I didn't like it because of the change with the new
I
bots.
didn't like the new bots either because it's just like, oh look, they changed it to something else. Okay,
Yeah, I wasn't a fan. I wasn't a fan of
when did
those.
that happen? I like the I don't know. We can talk about the voice acting in of the said robots. Um, well, let's get the the token.
Well, Galvatron's still, or sorry, Galvatron's still uh, Megatron, right? Same guy that did his voice.
Yes, I believe so. I think
Okay.
Hugo Weaving did the original Megatron, I think.
Oh, okay.
But this one's apparently a different guy. Frank
Oh, okay.
Welker. Yeah. Anyways, but Galvatron is Megatron, and we all know that right from the very beginning, from the first shot that you see. But anyway, let's get the token Asian bot out of the way. uh,
Ken Watanabe.
yeah, they have Ken Watanabe come in, who is an amazing actor and has a very distinct and awesome voice, I think.
And
And
has
they
played extremely stereotypical roles twice this summer so far.
Yeah, and they get him to be Samurai Bot. He looks like a samurai. He calls Optimus Prime Sensei. Like I
And I
will.
believe he's a Bugatti.
There's less pointless racism in this film because each film has had that with the ghetto bots and the. Yeah, there was some weird stuff in the past Transformers movies, but this
Yeah.
one is just like, we'll get Ken Watanabe. Oh, what? He actually signed on? Make him a samurai. And get this, call him Drift. Tokyo Drift? Huh?
Awesome.
Yeah. And he plays a Bugatti. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's an Asian car or not, but
It was a
um,
sick looking car when you seen him in his
oh
car.
yeah, he's a fucking awesome car. But yeah, that's hey, what do you? That's at least that's the only blatant racism. And we got Hound, played by John Goodman, voiced by good old John
Yeah,
Goodman.
I could tell that was John Goodman.
Yeah, and I love John Goodman's voice. It's a very distinct
Well,
voice.
because it sounded a lot like Sully from Monsters Inc. So
Yeah, there you go. And the character he played was kind of Sully with a chain gun, just like covered in bullets. Yeah, he plays the grizzly old shoot stuff and
yeah,
ask questions later. Optimus Prime, of course, voiced by Peter Cullen once again. Nothing new there. The man with the legendary voice. Bumblebee, voiced by no one. They still haven't figured out how to fucking get him to talk right 4 movies later. And Crosshairs, which was that green one, played by John DiMaggio. John
no, really,
DiMaggio? Yeah. The
he's
oh
a
yeah.
pretty big voice actor. He does quite a
I
bit of
was
stuff.
looking I was looking at the his backlog, shitloads of cartoons and stuff.
Oh yeah, I've seen his name quite a bit of times because I'm a grown kid.
Yeah. And
I watch that's I still get up on Saturdays to watch cartoons.
oh, I
But
love cartoons.
unfortunately, they've pretty much destroyed any cartoons I like. The new Ninja Turtles is god awful with the style and animation. The new Batman's awful with the style and animation.
And how fitting we're talking about a TV show that was ruined.
Oh yeah, there's even a new Transformers, which is
Yeah,
also
oh,
awful.
I'm sure there is. Yes. Ratchet's in it a little bit, the medical officer.
His head is.
Yeah, they hunt him down and tear that poor robot to pieces. They fuck him up royally. That's actually kind of sad. The way they tear apart that Autobot in the beginning, they fuck it
And
up.
then he starts saying, he's like, I'm an Autobot, blah, 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 blah,
I'm
blah.
Protector Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the only person we haven't locked down, of course, is the main antagonist of the
Actually,
film.
I didn't think he was bad.
Yeah, he was voiced by Mark Ryan,
Hmm.
whose only previous work is in. He's been in Charlie's Angels, The Prestige, The Thirst,
Hmm.
and every one of the Transformers. Actually, he's done Jetfire's voice, Bumblebee's voice. Yeah, he's just a he does robot voice as well, apparently.
Good for him.
Yeah, and that pretty much covers the majority of the cast. Kelsey Grammer, I thought, was a decent bad guy. And what was his?
I thought he did a good job.
He wasn't obviously given a lot to work with, but he does
No.
better than all the good talent they wasted in the last one, like John Malkovich, and they had so many good actors in the last Transformers that they just wasted. But at least Kelsey Grammer they put to some use. What was his right hand man's name? What
Oh,
was
yeah,
dude?
the special agent guy. He was
Yeah,
pretty good. He's in what booze is it? He's in some booze commercial.
yeah. No, I know exactly the one you're talking about. Fuck, I can't remember his name. Hmm. Sorry, I'm looking it up. Eh, Oh, Titus Weveler. Yeah. Of
That's not a name anybody would remember.
Nope, not at all. He's been in Red 2 and Law and Order, Sons of Anarchy. That's where I remember him. He was in one season of that. He was on Lost, Monk, a
Yeah,
lot
he's
of
been in quite a few things.
TV shows, but he does a
Mhm.
decent job as the there's two types of bad guys in this movie because this movie technically has four-ish bad guys if you want to look at
Essentially, yeah.
main bad guys. He's one that stays bad and gets killed.
Yeah.
Stanley Tucci kind of goes back to the good side, if you will, where Kelsey Grammer and this character die.
Yep.
Yep. Um,
Pretty badly too.
hmm yeah, that's the cast. I don't know. Do you have any other gripes with this film? Because I got one that we haven't talked about yet.
The Dinobots, perhaps?
Sure, we can cover that. Those that I know you may have seen the trailer and you're like, "Holy fuck me, running it! There's Dinobots."
Yeah.
And there is, and it is cool. Don't get me wrong, it is a couple really cool
Sort of.
scenes, sort of, but they are 100% wasted in
Completely wasted.
there's no explanation. I mean, none. I mean, fucking
Zero.
like two lines of dialogue and a shot. I think maybe a handful of shots. Basically, they're introduced and part of the team within 2 minutes flat,
Yep.
probably. Like what the fuck? And they're really only on screen for about half an hour, give or take. They do fuck some shit up, and it is pretty cool. I will give them that. But it's only like half an hour of an enormously long movie, and then
And
they're
they
just
essentially get woken up or whatever. They get brought out by Optimus Prime, who then fights them, makes the one his bitch. All three of them then do what they tell them to. He then tells them to fuck off, and they do.
yeah,
That's it.
that's they let the Dinobots go. I know that robots are our friends again at the end of this, but they let the Dinobots go.
Yeah.
Where you're just letting them run off into the forests of Beijing.
Yeah,
Giant
I had some
mechanized
problems with that.
giant mechanized dinosaurs. You just let them wander. Nah, I don't get it. I don't get it. I had some problems with that too. But that's I don't know. If you're going just for the Dinobots, you should probably save your money. Um, that can kind of segue into my major problem with this movie, besides, a weak story and blah blah blah. The running time, 2 hours and 50 minutes.
Yeah,
Why is this movie 2 hours and 50 minutes? I was exhausted by the end of it, and
same.
even though the last, just like the Chicago battle in the last one, the last bit is pretty cool. They try to ramp up the action over and over and over again. But there is a solid 45 minutes, if not more, of this movie that could just disappear and no one would notice. No one would notice. Like,
I think there's a good 45 minutes to an hour that nobody did notice.
that's the problem. This movie is like, this movie is approaching like Lord of the Rings, Wolf of Wall Street epic length. There's not that much story to tell. Like, I'm sorry, there's not that much. Like
No, you
it.
essentially just watch them do things very, very slowly. For instance, when they're saving her from the alien ship, very, very slowly.
That took about 45 minutes in itself.
Just the scene where they're trying to walk across the wires takes how long?
Mm, yes, everything is drawn out, and it doesn't
And
mean
let's be honest here. It's not like Michael Bay's going for realism.
no, not by
So
any.
he's not going, well, it would take you a little bit longer to walk across these wires.
I can picture Michael Bay trying to explain it. Well, when you're on the alien ship and the levers are across there and blah blah blah, and then you got the no, Michael, no. Like, there's a lot of this movie that could be left out, and I don't know why they didn't. I, I don't know. You could have made this could have been almost two movies. There's almost two movies worth of length in here. Not content, but definitely length. I don't get it. That was a major problem for me. Like,
Yeah.
if I ever watch this again, it will be fast forwarding to the battle scenes, and that's it.
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah,
just,
I'm 100% in agreement with you.
yeah, I don't get it. 2 hours and 50 minutes is a long ass time to watch a Transformers movie, man. And even though I did like some of it, that's a long fucking time.
Yeah, and like we both have said multiple times, even though either one of us like different pieces of it, there's still not a whole lot to like about it.
hmm Well, say
It's better than the last two in my opinion, but
I.
that doesn't say much because those two are both pretty much
This is the best ones.
garbage,
This
just
is
garbage.
Yeah, this is the best one since the first one, definitely. The first one was great, I think, or at least worked, and this one is a better than not than that, but than the second and third one. So I don't know.
Yeah.
You're comparing turds at this point. Which one smells the best? This one smells a little bit better than Revenge of the whatever. Michael Bay. I don't understand you. I don't understand you. Want to know the budget of this movie? It'll make you puke.
Sure.
$210 million.
Oh, yeah.
$210 million was given to this man to make this piece of art, cinema. Like, I don't know. I've accepted these kind of movies for what they are. They're CGI porn, they're popcorn, they're whatever, fluff, if you will. But part of me is always going to be like, God damn, that's a lot of money to waste.
Yeah,
Can't
that does seem like it
can't I
was
have
pretty much wasted.
can I have like 10 million? Can I have like 1 million to make my move? Like, can I just get a
It
little
makes me
piece?
wonder how much Mark Wahlberg was paid for this movie because he really doesn't seem to have a lot invested in it.
He seems like he just swung by for a couple weeks and filmed this and
Yeah,
took off.
yeah. Essentially, that's the kind of the vibe I got from it. And like I said, we're not like you're really asking much.
Maybe there was something in the Pain and Gain contract that he had to be the lead in his next one. I don't know.
I guess.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but yeah, Transformers. If you're a fan of any of the other Transformers, you kind of know what you're in for, and if you're not, and you go to this, I don't know. There's no excuse for it. You did that to yourself.
Yeah, unfortunately, you've then set a trap that only you can fall into, and you're not going to be happy about it at the end.
hmm
Especially when you pay, if you go and see it in 3D, and you pay something around the $16 range, and then you sit there for how
Which I
long
did.
again? The 2 hours and 45-minute range.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
No. Not a very good way to spend my time. What I am looking forward is to seeing the behind the scenes stuff from ILM. That's what I want to see.
hmm.
I would have paid $16 just to see that. Not have it, the special effects completely out of context. Just show them to me.
Just the special
Yeah,
effects.
just show me all of them in a row. I don't give a fuck. Like, I would have happily paid $16 for that, especially to see it on IMAX 3D. It would be great.
Yeah,
um,
I can't disagree with you there.
Yeah, I don't know. The special effects are great, the visuals are nice, but the story is paper thin. It is one ply thin. There's
And
nothing.
it's about as solid as Swiss cheese. There's a lot of holes in this thing.
Oh yeah, a lot of stuff just brushed over. A lot of like, wait. Like, no, no. If you're asking questions, you're at the wrong movie.
Yeah.
The certain sci-fi franchises, your Star Wars, your Star Treks, various superhero lores,
Well,
they have a lore to them. They have a universe that goes on outside of the movies. Transformers does not. Transformers exists only within the movies, and Michael Bay just makes up the rest. Like, it doesn't. There's no backstory here.
there is comic books, there is cartoon show, action
I'm
figures,
saying Michael
things of that
Bay's
nature. But
Transformers, if you will,
yeah,
his movies. Yes, there's definitely lots of stuff that people will know and love from their childhood of Transformers. This movie isn't fixing it.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like you could give the same budget to damn near any other director, and he would be able to, any other established director, if you will, like
I
a
don't know. At
James
the same
Cameron or
time,
something.
this is still better than something like Pacific Rim.
Yeah, I think the effects are better than Pacific Rim, and that's saying something because Pacific Rim looked great, but again, paper thin story. Just I don't know. It's the story of a video game, or the story of a comic book, or the
Yeah.
story created by a 6-year-old while he's bashing his toys together.
Essentially, the story in this is non-existent. Do not, if you're someone who craves the story or plot in a movie, then this is not the one for you. If you're somebody who likes the smashy, blowy stuff, and I said blowy, but if someone likes explosions and smashing and mechanical sounds and
Yeah,
things speeding around, then you'll like this.
really fast action, jittery movements, explosions for days. Like just so many cars
If
wrecked.
you have eyeballs but are brainless, you will like this.
hmm I found something to like, but like I said, it'll be. I would have rather watched just the special effects scenes. I would. No, I've scratched that. Don't even. I'll just go play a video game.
Yeah,
if
I
I
think I'd rather play video game than watch
if I
this
want to
movie.
just blow stuff up without any thought or cause, video games are pretty good for that. No.
Like I said, I didn't mind it compared to the last two. So
Mm,
that's the only part where I'm torn between it. But either way, I think overall, I there's really nothing to me that kind of makes it something I would ever suggest to somebody or I would really go out of my way to see again. I won't be buying it on
no,
Blu-ray, nothing like that.
me neither.
So, to me, I think if we're gonna have to, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about with it before we go into the grading it, for instance?
No, I think I've covered all my points more or less. But
Well, like I was saying, overall, with the simplicity of the storyline, the kind of almost even dumbed down characters and performances that were in this, and the kind of self awareness of how bad a lot of it is.
hmm well, there was
Uh,
a little bit of self-awareness, which is good. I always like
so, I
to see.
mean, because of that, I think the most I would probably give this is a six.
That's actually bang on what I was gonna say. A 6. Um, yeah, and it's and a lot of that is for the special effects and the blood, sweat, and tears that went into making this look as good as it did. That's,
Yeah,
a lot of the score comes from that. Because if it didn't,
I would agree.
if the special effects were even like one par lower, this would be an almost complete failure, I think.
It would be.
Yeah.
It would be similar to Pacific Rim.
Yeah, there you go. That that works. 6 out of 10 from me, 6 out of 10 from you. A,
Yeah.
a fucking average mess of a film, but there's beauty in everything, I guess. Maybe even Michael Bay's twisted mind. Another thing, the product placement. Do you see how much bloody product placement was in this movie for
Yeah.
Bud Light, Dr. Dre's Beats, Victoria's Secret? That was all up in there.
Well, yeah, the blatant plug by Stanley Tucci. He says, "Oh, you like music? Beats, or what's it say? The pill, the
The
pill."
pill.
Yeah,
See, it's in your fucking face. Buy it. You douchebag. You already
yeah.
bought the movie ticket. Buy the pill too.
Color me pessimistic, but I mean, it's very hard to see the silver lining to this movie other than the visual aspect. Aside from that, there's really nothing good about it, in my opinion, and not the whole Transformer franchise except for the first, really.
hmm
But like you said, I really don't think I'd recommend it to most people. If you like the especially second and third Transformer movies, then hell, go out and see it. You'll probably enjoy it and be my guest. Love it. Fucking be one of the few people that buy it on Blu-ray. Go ahead.
hmm Because they need your money. Because they're gonna make another one. Don't you worry. They
Yeah.
cliffhangered for another one. Yeah. I got nothing else to say on the matter. Really, like what kind of movie this is. It's not gonna change lives, and nor does it want to. Basically,
Yeah.
um, it gets a pass because of the effort it took to pull off the visuals. I think. Otherwise, this is About as average as it gets, about as popcorn as it gets. It ranks pretty low on my summer's movie list so far.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and that's all I got to say about that. Yes. Anyway, that has been Movieverse review of Transformers: Age of Extinction. Thank you for putting up with us as we tear Michael Bay a new one. Links to all of our previous work down below in Big Nasty Productions channel in the link below. Check them out. Lots of cool stuff there. Subscribe. Talk to us in the comments if you like what we do, and we'll see you next time on Movieverse. Bye bye.